Hey guys, Will here. Welcome back to another episode of Modeling from the Ensign's Chair. So this episode I want to talk about the wart nacelles, and I've got a couple things to go over, and I've actually learned a couple things that are pretty interesting. So we're going to dive right into it and go over these wart nacelles and talk about what I'm doing with them as far as what I think most closely resembles what you're going to see in the movies. So give me a second, put you on the desk, and we'll get to it. Alright guys, so I've cut my light off a little bit just so I can show you the light on this, but I've got my lighting pretty much worked out on the nacelle, and I think depending on what kind of light it's in or how it looks, it either shows up as purple or blue, depending on the lighting. But I can tell you, sitting here looking at it, it's definitely purple. But I think part of the reason why it may look different depending on the lighting is because of the way I went about lighting this. And I got the idea from Bill Krause. Bill Krause I saw doing something like this, and it was really, I thought when I saw it, I was like, it's a really good idea of how to light this, and also helps with a little bit of getting the light to not be so uneven, but you know, diffusing the light. So anyway, here's another shot without the grill on it. You can see the light bulbs in there, or the LEDs. But I'm gonna work on the diffusion on this a little more. But the way I've got this lit up is I wanted to use as much of the lighting that comes with the Tender Controls kit as possible. And the problem with that was that I want these to light purple. But the lights, the small LEDs that come with the kit are blue. So what I did was, based on that, and I couldn't find the thread, so whoever recommended to me to go to a local grip company and find some Cinegel, thank you. And please, if you see this video, take credit, because I was trying to find the thread where you mentioned it and I couldn't find it. But I know originally the idea was, I saw Bill Krause doing it, and then somebody had commented about looking at Cinegel. So that's what I did. I went to a local grip company here in Albuquerque, and I found some Cinegel. And the thing was, with it being blue lights or blue LEDs, I knew I couldn't go with just a purple Cinegel. So what the lady recommended to me there was try a magenta, which is what I've got in here. And you can see the blue lighting and the magenta Cinegel is what I'm using. And when you put the two together, the Cinegel, because it's a magenta and not a straight purple, makes it look purple because it takes that blue light and it filters it. So, and like I said, depending on the lighting, I've noticed that sometimes it looks blue even, which is an extra bonus. So I kind of like that. So that's working out really well. That's how I'm going to do the lighting on my nacelles as far as these grills. And the other thing I want to talk about, the thing that made me set these aside for a while because I really couldn't get an answer on it, was what color are the grills themselves? Because the Trek Modeler paint guide calls for these to be painted a Euro 1 gray, which is kind of a dark gray, almost black paint. But obviously when you look at the pictures from the Christie's auction, you see this violet shade on the grills. And I was trying to figure out, well, what is that from? Because it looks darker in the film. And there was an interview done with Richard Taylor, who was one of the leads, or the lead, on the special effects and how the lighting was done on the model. And in that interview they talked about die-chem, and that what you see there is a residual leftover from the die-chem that was used during, you know, when they were cutting the grills. Because the grills, I believe, were either stainless steel or aluminum. I don't recall, but they were a metal. The grills were metal, and they used this die-chem fluid, which is a marking fluid, and they left it on there. And in the video, there's been some conversation about whether they mix blue and red. I don't think they mix blue and red, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. For one, Richard Taylor only mentions blue die-chem in the interview. That's all he all he mentions. He doesn't mention the red. He doesn't mention mixing. He just says what you see on the wart grills is the blue die-chem. which is a steel blue, which I've got a bottle of here. And I also did get a bottle of the steel red, just so I could test them out. And I've tested it out. I've done it, a couple different test paintings on some leftover photo etch sprue I've got here, which still has some parts on it. But so I did some test painting on it, and what I found out was something interesting with this blue Titacam. Let me turn my light on real quick, because you can't see it without the light. But what I've noticed is, and this stuff airbrushes right out the bottle. It's real easy. The only thing I would suggest is maybe wear gloves, because it gets messy. So, but so I did some test paintings, and I'll post pictures of this later because it doesn't really show up too well on the camera here. But I think in the camera it's showing blue right now. But depending on the lighting, again, and then this side I first did a spray of the red and then the blue on top. And you do get kind of a blue, kind of violet transfer or purple transfer there, depending on the light. But what I found was just spraying straight blue, depending on the light, will actually show purple. And I've got pictures I'll post because it doesn't show up too well on the video camera. But I actually went and painted one of the grills here. And again, probably doesn't show up too well on the camera, but I think you can catch, even though this is painted with only the blue, steel blue Dicam, I think you can see that there's some, in some areas, depending on how the light's hitting it, it's actually showing purple, which is what you're seeing in those Christie those Christie's auction photos. You're seeing that purple show through. And so I like the way these are looking. And I think that's the way that they did them on the movie filming model, based on the Richard Taylor interview and what I'm seeing on the results on my test here. So I think that's the way I'm going to do it. And don't care if anybody agrees with it or not. I like it. I think that's the way they did it. That's the way I'm going to do it. And so I've got that worked out now. And now I know exactly how I want to do my warp nacelles as far as these lights and the grill. And the rest of it is pretty straightforward as far as the painting on it. So that's what I'm going to work on. And this video this week's going to be kind of short because I just wanted to discuss those few things with you. And I'm going to post, like I said, I'll post the pictures along with the video, because I don't know that the camera is picking this up too well as far as the color transition. I'm trying to move it around a little bit and see, but it shows up a little, definitely shows up in the photos I took when I was doing the tests on this. So anyway, that's the way I'm going to do it. And like I said, you know, any comments are welcome. You know, if you want to disagree, that's fine. You know, I was looking at some of the screen caps from the motion picture. And this one in particular, when they're first approaching the Enterprise, circled here, when you look at this, and this probably, again, doesn't show up too well on camera, but and I can't get it to come up on the pad, but when you look at that, I see straight blue. I don't see any purple in that at all. But there are other times when you look at some of these screen caps and it looks kind of purplish. So there's a test shot of the blue, and this is the exact same piece, only you can see it looks purple, and it's painted just a straight blue, no purple and no red in that at all. So I do think that's the way they did the film model. And again, there's a zoomed in shot of that same scene. This looks straight blue to me, and it's a steel blue. So I think that's the way I'm going to go with it. I think that's the correct way to do it. But there you have it. That's the information I want to present today. And please, like I said, if you've got any comments or thoughts about it, and even if you disagree, that's fine. Please, you know, make a comment below. State your case, and we'll just see what everybody thinks and what they want to go with. Like I said, you know, I do these models because I do them the way that I want them to be. or I do them the way I'm happy with it, and that's the way everybody should do their models. So anyway, I appreciate your time this week. If you like what you see here, you find any of the information useful, please hit that like button below. And as always, if you want the updates automatically, just hit that subscribe button. And again, please, if you've got any thoughts on this, I'd like to hear some feedback on it. So leave any comments below. But again, until next week, keep on modeling.